Okay, Daryl in Pennsylvania. I got your new radio here for you, so we'll get this one taken care of, and probably be heading your way on Tuesday because I think tomorrow's a holiday, so there's no mail delivery of any sort. And we got just bombarded with snow here in Michigan the last couple of days, so after I get yours done and one more, that's it. Then I'm caught up, which is a good feeling, and go out and shovel some snow. I do have a snowblower, but I'm too lazy to use it. I actually enjoy the exercise of doing the shovel, and I don't know, call me crazy, but any little bit you can get helps, you know. So I like my job because I do a lot of walking and stuff, so keeps my body going. There is a little bit of box damage, you know, sometimes that happens. Doubtful that the radio got hurt in any way, but you know, these come in boxes of 5, and generally speaking they can get bumped up a little bit, you know, but we'll get it taken care of for you. I got the iron warming up, so I'm gonna put that little wire resistor in that I do, and you'll be all set on what you want to do with that, and then we'll get you set up. Okay, so we got you all set there. This is a 0 ohm basically is what that is, so I just trim it down and solder it to those 2 leads, and it's good to go. Basically just connects the circuit, that's all. There's no really importance for the 0 ohm is basically just a pass through. You don't want any resistance on that, you just want to pass through. You could do a wire or two, something like that. You could probably even bugger it up with some solder if you really wanted to. I don't like that way, but you know, this is the easiest way for me to do it, and that's how I do it. Okay, so let's power it on. Guess it would help if I turned on my power supply. Yeah. All right, now it's powered on. Alright, so now we'll just be able to do what we want to do there. So we got you all set up on everything. Keep in mind with these radios, there is going to be a little bit of play in the channel selector. It's just kind of how they are. It's not a mechanical, you know, channel selector. It's a rotary encoder, so there may be a little play. Some people might, you know, not be used to that if you've never had a radio with a rotary encoder. There's a little bit of a difference from like something like this versus going to something like this, which is a mechanical channel selector. So I set this one up for myself the other day, and I've just been kind of enjoying using it once in a while, but it is like right on frequency, which is really cool. So you know, with the alignment that I did, it worked out well. So I'm on a dummy load, 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably can't even hear me because of all that skip coming in, but let's go to a dummy load on that radio. Still picking up stations. I got an outside dummy load. This is a little cheap dummy load here that this one's hooked up to. But this Ranger. So, you know, hello, CQ, hello radio, 1, 2, hello, check, check. So, seems to work good, and it's right on frequency for the most part, so I can't complain, you know. People like to complain about these on sideband and stuff, but for me it seems like it does pretty good. Yeah, so like I say, I haven't experienced some of the newer Ranger radios a whole lot, but so far I'm pretty impressed with this one. You know, you do a real alignment to it, not just going in and turning the things and trying to line it up with a HF radio. Actually physically do the, you know, the IF frequencies like you're supposed to do, and it comes out pretty darn good. So yeah, but I just wanted to point that out with these, that you know, you have to kind of expect that, you know, rotary encoder, it's not going to have that big chunky feel. So, you know, most people are used to that if they use these type of radios, so it's not a big concern. But every once in a while, somebody might not be used to that. So just take it easy on it. You know, you don't want to sit here and just hang on it. Like if you have this in a vehicle or something mounted, you know, above you, you don't want to just grab it and like kind of lean your body on it as you turn it or put pressure on it. You just want to just turn it gently. That's all it takes. You don't have to crank away at it or anything like that. It's a pretty smooth motion. So we'll get this one set up for you, and we'll be ready to send it off as soon as I can. Okay, so we're on the dummy low. We're just testing the frequency. It's a little high, so it's kind of normal for these. Every one I've seen like that. So I'm going to get it set up for you now, and I'll fix that along the way. Okay, there we go. So that's a little bit better. I mean, it wasn't bad before, just being picky about 10 hertz, but if you can fix it, you might as well fix it. Now we're going to do the FM power and all that stuff, so I'm not going to cover all that. It's going to be 50 and 1. AM is going to be 16 and 1. I'll come back and show you the audio and stuff like that on AM sideband, but I'll kind of skip over the rest of it. A couple guys in Scotland, they must have heard me out there. I should go back to them. They get a kick out of it, but I want to get this radio done and get my other things I got to get done. So there's about 96%. That's how I like to set them up. This is the low power modulation. So I don't have my normal setting, so we're just going to do a normal trigger, and then I'll just adjust the trigger up so we can kind of stop it and take a look at it like that. As you can see, we're definitely not pinching in the middle or anything like that. You don't want to get it too aggressive, because what happens, this is already a very aggressive radio, and when you get it too aggressive, then it just becomes too much, and you don't want that. So, timeout timer hit us in the butt. See, it's very aggressive, and when you first key down, when the tone's going, it kind of simulates like voice, because it doesn't lock in, and it's never going to lock in on your voice. That's what people, they don't understand sometimes about certain radios that aren't as aggressive. They do lock in, and then the ones like this that aren't as aggressive, they don't really ever lock in, so they allow a bunch of overmod still to happen, which is generally what happens, and why you get that low dead key and big swing that everybody likes on AM. So who am I to say what's good and bad? I just kind of understand it, how it works and what is what. So this one's about 92 on the high power side now, so we're going to set it to about 96. Personally, for a cleaner output, 90 is probably better. That way you kind of contain a little bit of that extra oomph that the radio is going to give you after the fact, is what I like to say. But I know people don't want that. It's just, they want what they want, and they want higher level of modulation, which these kind of radios give you. So it is what it is, let's just say that. So it's been proven that certain radios that I think are the better option for like AM, a lot of people don't like them because they don't make their amps get all excited and stuff. So it's just what it is, I guess. Because they always say, well, my other radio hits my amp a lot harder and stuff like that. So, but I wonder, honestly, if that really helps you get out any better with hitting the amp harder like that, or if it's just more the power meter likes it versus, what's really going on. So let's take a look at this one now on the two-tone. Just never really that good. So that's how it looks right now. It's pretty awesome. distorted and stuff, and that's why it has a high level of power. I mean, the thing's almost doing 80 watts average. It's way too much power. So don't be fooled by anybody that tells you that you need all this average RMS power on sideband, because guaranteed, if you run it like that and you run it into an amp that's more like a CV style amp, something that somebody built or something, it doesn't matter if they say it's biased or whatever, you're probably going to burn up the amp. So, or a really expensive HF amp, if you run something like this dirty into it like this, it's not going to be good for it. So you want to make sure you contain this stuff, and this is why I do what I do here. It's a very important thing to clean it up. And it's probably good there, so I can kind of see if I reinitialize the trigger so we take a better measurement here, how that actually looks. And I'm just too lazy to, I have a pre-calibrated file that I load into this that slows everything down, but it doesn't really matter because I know what I'm looking at. So, and the trigger function works good, so we're just basically not taking measurements at this point when I trigger it off. So that's perfect. That's what we want there. The one thing that you'll notice though is by doing that, your power registration on your radio now will not show a lot on SSB. So let's go back to this, and to demonstrate that I'll key up. So you're not going to see a ton of power here, so don't be alarmed by that. That's fine. It doesn't really matter what this radio is telling you what you're doing. The radio is doing the power. And honestly, you could almost say that it's reading average power now, because in a sense it is. So in a sense it kind of is, because I'm seeing about 20. You know, the power meter's an average right now, and sometimes it goes up 20, 30, 40 I saw there, but you know, regardless, it's not really accurate for what we want to look at for a power measurement. So, you know, we don't read average in sideband. We should never consider that a way to read power. It's always going to be peak envelope power, and as you can see, the radio still does the power that it was designed to do. It's just a little more effective now and cleaner, so it's actually going to run much cooler this way, and you're going to have a much cleaner output on the radio side. So definitely do not go in these and turn them up more than what they come out of the factory. That would be a big no-no. And if you start blowing up equipment, you already know why when you run it on sideband, because you're just overdriving things way above and beyond what they should be driven with. So that's the sideband on this. And on AM, here's my dog coming to say hi. So you probably want something. 16 watts or so on AM is what it's going to do, and then with PEP it's going to really, you know, give you that 100 watt mark or whatever. So it's definitely got what people want, that's for sure. So, you know, but also with that comes a little bit of the distortion and stuff that gives you that high increase on talking power that everybody seems to like. So if we back this way down like this, about 1 watt or so, and that's why you're going to see those big power spikes. And you can see it right here on the oscilloscope. That's, you know, with a continuous tone going into the radio, it's perfectly clean. Now like this, it's not. It really isn't. So, and that's the design of the radio. So, you know, the only way to compensate that is to back the modulation down internally in the menu. But nobody's going to want that. You know, that's the thing. They want these radios to act a certain way, and that's why they act the way they act. So it's all about what somebody wants, and Stryker's giving you that. So it looks great on test equipment. In the real world, I wouldn't turn it up any more than what I've done, because it's not going to help you any. at a certain point you're just going to start bleeding and bleeding and bleeding when you start cranking it wide open in the menu. You know, 96% is plenty. Personally, probably 90 is better, but I can guarantee no one's going to want that. So the radio is good to go. Other than we need to check the receiver, so let's do that. You know, one thing I've learned about doing this is it's kind of a cutthroat industry. There's not too many guys anymore that really are trying to attack people or do anything like that. I'm sure not one of those that would ever even care to do that. But one thing I'll say is, man, that guy's got some messed up sound and audio or something. One thing I'll say to that is, we're already checking the receiver here. I didn't even realize. So let's just see when I turn this on, since the last radio I checked is probably going to be pretty close. So and I'll get back to that. Okay, this is AM. Yeah, the last radio I checked was a Washington. So the Washington and this one are about the same. So there's our minus 112. There's our 12. So that worked out good. Didn't have to really do anything. 30% mod. So I did get some new Washingtons in. I'm stocked up on those for a while. Strykers here. I'm probably going to put another pre-order on the website. It'll be probably a 10 business day thing before they ship, just because I'm really operating in a part-time manner. So if anyone's interested, I will probably put another option to buy them like that. But the Washingtons I do have, so there wouldn't be a wait time between the time that you order it as much. Except for me just getting it set up for you, which is probably less than a week. So less than 5 business days on the Washington. Probably a little longer, up to 10 on these, because I don't have a stock on these right now. I don't really want to stock a bunch of different radios because it's not really beneficial to me. I'd rather just, if you want one, I can get them. If I couldn't get them, I wouldn't give you the option to order one, that kind of thing. So that's kind of the way I feel about them sometimes. And I'll let you guys decide when you want them, and I'll order them and set them up and ship them out. So I had this one here. It just took me multiple days to get to it. For Daryl, here's the sideband receiver. So that's working good too. So what was I trying to get at really quick before we close this video? Oh yeah, so again, it is a little bit of a cutthroat industry, unfortunately. But what I wanted to say is, when somebody gets somebody else's radio, and I don't write my name on these. I don't have this big like, oh, I gotta beat my chest because I'm the best and I'm better than everybody. That's not me. I don't really care what everybody else does and what they do and to radios and all that. No matter what you get, if you just hook it up and you look at your, especially a radio like this, you just start talking and you look at an oscilloscope on AM while you talk. There ain't no radio gonna look good on an oscilloscope with voice, because we don't set the modulation with voice. We set it with test tones. We set it with a sine wave, and that's how you make it look beautiful. Now in the real world, nobody talks like that. So in the real world, pretty much everybody's radio, at a certain extent, there's going to be some clipping, maybe a little bit of flat topping, because a lot of it comes down to what's inside here, how it was made. And that's what some people forget. There are some people, unfortunately, that take advantage of that, and they just crank everything wide open just because they don't have a very good peak reading meter or whatever they have. They do that so that they can show more power on their basic meter or whatever they have. So it can go both ways. But in the real world, most radios on AM are never going to look perfectly linear on an oscilloscope with voice. It just doesn't happen. And if you're under mod, then you're barely going to move the oscilloscope too. So it can go both ways. So I just want to put that out there. And Daryl, your radio's all set. So obviously I'll put the cover on it, screw that down for you. But you should be all set. So I hope you enjoy it. And hope you enjoy that Mako antenna that I sent you last week too. I actually gave you a freebie on UPS because I just wasn't feeling good. that was the day that you ordered it, and I hadn't checked my eBay in a while, and I had it set up to ship like basically the same day, which was a mistake on my part. But I try to follow what's there, so I've now had it set to 3 business days or something that way, because I have to personally deliver those Mako antennas to the post office. They won't pick them up, and I do have UPS as an option, but that wasn't an option for you, and probably you wouldn't have paid for it anyways, because it cost me quite a bit more money. So it is what it is. I wasn't feeling well, and I took the loss because I wanted to get your antenna shipped out. So 73, and I hope you enjoy this one when you get it.